How's everyone doing this morning? Good. We can jump right in. Does anyone have any comments that or changes to the minutes while we're waiting for people to sign on? Let me know. Okay. I don't think we typically formally adopt the minutes as an advisory body, so I think that is sufficient for us. I'm just pulling up a couple things here for. There we go. Too many windows. I have two screens and I have too many windows. Okay, so welcome everyone. We'll try to be brief today. We've got a bunch to cover, but I don't think it's going to take the whole time. First thing is community solar. I think should be there on number 3 on the agenda, not climate smart. So we have a lot going on. The Board of Supervisors passed, as everyone knows, the resolution back in early February. Thank you for all the work there. Really appreciate it. We have submitted the NYSERDA scoping document. Wendy, when was that submitted? Like 2 weeks ago, right? Or maybe longer?
I believe it was the 10th. Let me just double check that.
And we haven't heard back I still haven't heard back, right?
That's correct.
And we heard that there might be a slight delay. Usually it takes 2 weeks, but we should be hearing any day?
I hope so.
Good.
I mean, Tara's on the call. I had asked her. She just said that they were a little backlogged.
Yeah, they're just a little behind. It should be hopefully in the next week or so. You should hear from them. Great.
And I see from the NYSERDA website that there are only 2 large municipal solar, community solar grants left. This is the $15,000 grant when we get 25 signups. I assume that is first come, first serve once the signups have been submitted, or
Correct. Okay. So once you get your 25 signups, you'll just want to submit as soon as possible, because that'll basically put you in line for those grants. And I don't know what your competition is out there. There's a bunch of communities working on these campaigns. I know of only one other in our region that's a large community that still hasn't gotten a grant, but there's other regions all throughout the state. So hard to say.
Okay. Well, this is why it's urgent that we move. Small community grants remaining for the towns that are participating, and the piggyback towns include Ghent, Claverick, both of which are ready to go. I know once the page is up, once our county page is up to start their campaigns, and NYSERDA. Well, I don't know if the NYSERDA document has been submitted or has been accepted yet for Ghent. There's also Kinderhook Town, Germantown, and New Lebanon is interesting little twist here. They already have a community solar campaign, but Ampion, their provider, has told them that they're pretty much maxed out with capacity, and no new subscriber has any chance of getting any capacity within the next year or so. So they're looking to continue promoting community solar in their community, working on the county campaign, which is cool. They won't qualify for another NYSERDA grant, but they will qualify for, they'll help their residents get signed up, which is the most important thing. And those people will get a discount, a little payment. That brings us to the next topic. Oh, I'm sorry, we have a couple hands up, so let's stop there. Brenda, that's who I saw first.
I just wanted to ask, we're experiencing a similar issue with Ampion, but I understood that the issue is not with Ampion, but with NYSEG. Can anybody clarify that?
I can't speak for Ampion, Brenda, but egg capacity is in very, very short supply. And it really has to do with the intricacies of the value of distributed energy, and what developers are getting in terms of credits from the utility. So the utility is, in essence, passing credits to the developers that are injecting this solar electricity in, and then the developer passes those credits back to the subscriber's utility bill, and then it shows a discount on the bill. So NYSEG is experiencing, it's just a tremendous mess, but that's, I think, not related to capacity. It has to do with, I think, some of the consolidated billing, and egg rolled out consolidated billing. And, but I'm a subscriber to Community Solar, and I haven't received a NYSEG bill since August, and they can't tell me why. But I think that's a separate issue from actual capacity, which is kind of what it sounds like. Ampion might not have capacity for subscribers.
This is Steve, and yeah, Brenda, that we were told by Brian at Ampion that they don't have any new projects online yet, and it could be a year before any new signups get allocated to that. So what Kara's saying is correct. There is a separate issue with NYSEG, and I think that's with every company that works with NYSEG, unfortunately.
That's what I understood. Yeah.
Yeah, National Grid seems to be doing okay, but National Grid was really prepared for consolidated billing, much more so than the other utilities. Central Hudson seems to be functioning okay, except that Central Hudson has a whole nother issues going on with they changed every account holder's account number over the past year, which created a tremendous mess. So yeah.
My concern was that this would propagate through our launch. If NYSEG is part of our launch, then we would have the same problem at the county level. That's all.
I think that, well, I'm hopeful that NYSEG will remedy their situation, their problems. And I think, when somebody subscribes for that through the county Solarize program, and they have NYSEG, there's going to be a period of time where they're not going to receive credits right away. We're probably talking summer at the earliest. My sense is that these NYSEG billing problems will be corrected by then. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for that clarification, Steve and Kara. Tistria.
Yeah, I had a question and then two comments. And Steve, maybe you and David have already worked this out, but I just want to make sure that for the town of New Lebanon to piggyback onto the county's program and get the split in credits that we talked about for the signups, should we be adding one or both of the county's providers to the town's community solar? Steve, have you already worked those details out?
No, we haven't worked those details out, but yes, I think that's what we should do. We can talk about that offline. I think that's
okay.
Yeah, I sent Steve some information last week on this, and I think the simple answer is that the town. So really, the only difference between the only benefit for New Lebanon or a town that has already received a NYSERDA grant to participate in this as a town to officially piggyback. And to do so, you'd have to pass another resolution, I would recommend, but saying that you're piggybacking. But the only benefit really is that the town itself will get half of the credit that's being given to the municipality. So that's not insignificant, but that is really the only reason to do it, in my opinion. It's $50, half of the Astral or Nexamp credit that would go to Columbia County would go directly to the town that's participating. From the subscriber standpoint, it makes no difference.
Okay, thanks. And then one point I just want to make that I would imagine most task forces and the county is aware of is with the current supply increase across the nation. It's not NYSEG, it's not Central Hudson. It may appear to people that they sign on to community solar and their electric bill goes up. And it's unfortunate that it's happening while we're doing an active campaign, but I think that has to be somewhere in our outreach to people so they don't feel duped, right? Because there is a real thing where these suppliers try to get you to change over and then they do charge you more. And it's going to look like this is one of those programs, I think, unfortunately, and I've already heard it from some residents. So I think we need to include in our outreach materials that currently supply charges across the nation are on a rise, are going up, and that this has nothing to do with that. Your up to 10% savings is just going to be on that potentially or likely increased electric bill. And then the other thing with NYSEG, unfortunately, and this I think is true whether you're on community solar or not, but maybe it's just with community solar, is that, like Kara said, she hasn't gotten a bill in a while, and then you get hit. One of our residents recently got an over, I think it was $1,200 bill. And it's not like it was 4 months worth of electricity. It's not like it was more than they should have been charged. Steve, maybe you can speak to that a little bit, but it was unfortunate that with the delay in the credits or the billing, this person luckily could afford that. But I'm just afraid that if we're, again, going for some lower income households to try and show this as a cost savings, although it's true that they did still save money on that $1,200, they get hit with it at once. And so I just think we as a county going into this campaign should be aware of some of these things. Steve, can you clarify a little more on that delayed billing? That was a community solar thing, right?
That has been a complaint from residents, yeah. And I've heard that Ampion said they're going to file a public service commission complaint against NYSEG over this because it's ridiculous. You know, they have one woman in the back room who manually does all the work to add these credits onto the bills. So,
yeah, it's totally crazy. I mean, we have a remote net metering at our place here, and the same issue arose with one person in the back office. Her name is Darlene, or was a couple of years ago, and I got her direct number, and we had to work through spreadsheets to make sure that it was accurate. It was insane. So I think they have a lot of internal issues. And hopefully those issues aren't specific to the solar, but I think all of these programs just further stress their, which already seems to be inadequate, their administration. We'll have to be aware of it. I think you're right, Tistria. Just as if we're hearing these stories, we should make sure that they come to the committee, our little subcommittee, and that we're aware of it and we can field questions from people as best we can. I don't know how much we can get out ahead of it without sounding really defensive and getting even more confusing for people. We can say something, I think, like as a promotional thing, electricity costs, like everything else, are going up. And so community solar allows you to save 10% on your electric bill for those credits to help offset rising costs or something like that. I think that maybe is the best approach. Turn it into more of a positive than trying to be defensive. But we'll get to the website in a minute. And as we finalize this, we'll keep that in mind. So
that's my idea. Just being as proactive as we can, I think, positive way, but just so people don't feel duped. Because once people feel duped and they time in it, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Brenda and then Kara.
So my last quick question is, I just want to understand, if Canaan were to consider piggybacking with the county, I'm not concerned about the incentive for the town. I'm concerned about getting more people online sooner. Do you think that our customers would come online, our subscribers would come online any sooner?
No, I think they would sign up as county residents, regardless of whether the town was part of the program.
So they're going to get the service. The timing will be the same, whether it's through Ampion or through the county.
There's no preference being given to the piggyback towns, for example. It's just really to allow them to benefit from participating and not having to design and develop their own program. which is easier, and then they can, get the grants. So if that's not
Okay.
a concern, then I think it's probably easier just to
Stay where we
promote
are.
your town can promote it. Just let people know, make sure they know. It might be a little confusing if they have been exposed to a town community solar campaign to know that there's a county campaign. There might need to be some educational outreach, which explains that you can sign up for either. If Ampion isn't taking anyone, then that solves that problem. But that there's nothing to stop people from signing up if they haven't yet signed up through a previous town's campaign.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry to interrupt, and Carrie, you can respond to this, but I'm not sure that's what Brenda's asking. I think if somebody signed up, and Carrie, again, you can respond to this now, in theory, they're going to get online or assigned to an existing capacity sooner than a year from now.
Yeah, that's right. I wasn't saying that. I'm just saying that being a piggyback town doesn't give us who's piggybacking a faster timeline than someone outside of those piggyback towns in another part of the county. Everyone is
Steve is right. That was really my question.
okay.
You get in line sooner.
Right.
Yeah, sooner than Ampion.
Right.
Kara.
In response to Tistria and Steve, I think one thing that we do in avoiding that sense of being put on the defensive in responding to queries is that we call out that we know are going to be objections, right? So maybe a short blog: supply costs are rising our country nationwide, and community solar deposits savings to your utility bill. While you might be a community solar subscriber, electric bill is going up. That doesn't have to do with however you want to phrase it, but I can help craft a short statement about that. But differentiating between an energy supply arrangement and community solar is crucial. And you guys might want to confirm with Nexamp on their NICEAG capacity, because I could have sworn I heard something on the presentation to the Board of Supervisors that they were a ways out with NICEAG. So you might want to find out about that.
Yep. So let's turn. I don't see any other hands up right now. Let's turn to some of the. Well, real quick, a quick update on the MOU. That's another key component before we can launch. Then we'll go to the website and some of the outreach. The MOU, I believe, Wendy, is being developed by. This is the MOU between the county and Astral and Nexamp, right? Just kind of defining the relationship here and what is being offered and the roles and responsibilities. But Wendy, that is in the county attorney is working on that.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Do we have any sense of where that's at and timing?
I was actually hoping to hear from the office this morning. Did not. So I would imagine that I would hear from them later.
Great. Excellent. And then that will go out to the two companies for their review, and hopefully that gets settled around the time that the scoping document comes in, probably next week, realistically. And then we're working on the website right now. So the way this will work, let me just share my screen if I can. Hold on a sec. Let me know if you see that, when you see it.
See it.
Okay, great. So this is not completed in any way. This is very much a rough draft. We're limited by, first of all, Don Meltz in the planning department has helped us tremendously with this website, with a bunch of the Climate Carnival website he's working on, the general Climate Smart Communities County Task Force website, and reconciling all this within the EMC website for the county. So it's a lot of information. It's really coming along well. And we appreciate all the work that Don and the planning department has put into helping us with this. Could not have done it without that support. But so it is a draft, and we're limited by, I guess, the technology that they have is pretty basic. It's a Google. It's like an automated website builder that Google has. But having said that, it needs to do is be a landing page that describes what we're doing, defines it. I think, Kara, some of your language there about what it is and what it isn't might be helpful here if we can get it in there simply about community solar versus energy suppliers to make that distinction, and some of the other points that have been made. So we're going to review this. And so basically it'll just be a basic description of what it is, how it works, and then the links to the two providers. And we have, and then those provider pages are much more enriching and functional in that people will be able to sign up. And so we need some information from the providers. We're going to share this draft with Kara. We'll share it with you or your team, and we'll share it with Nexamp so we can get feedback on the content. And if there's any additional infographics or anything else that you might be able to offer us for this page, that would be helpful. And then we'll want to really navigate people into the two subscriber websites. So our subcommittee is also providing feedback on this right now, and then we'll get that launched with the campaign. That will be how the campaign launches. This goes live, and people can sign up. And then, of course, we need to promote it, but that will be the I guess the quiet launch. And once that happens, then we can really start promoting it with all of our events, mailings, and outreach. So I don't know if folks have thoughts on this. Obviously, not everyone has. We just got this yesterday, so I haven't even looked at it. And I don't expect people to have substantive thoughts about like what's here and what should be changed. But if you have any thoughts in general about this website, how we're using it, that you think are worth discussing, now is the time. And again, our team, our little committee, along with the providers, will be reviewing this and getting this finalized.
I would just think it would be great to have like an events page integrated with this, or a calendar, maybe a calendar, just simply a calendar, and then events can be placed in the calendar.
Yeah, I think that's very straightforward and a good idea. Patrice.
There's a separate events page on our website, but I can share that link on this page. It's not a problem.
That's great. Steve.
Will there be a direct link on the Columbia County website homepage?
Patrice? Can we do that?
I can find out from the Board of Supervisors about that. I'll ask.
Because otherwise it's buried. I think it would be better to have it as much out front as possible so residents can find it.
Yeah, I agree. We're going to need to promote it in general, this link, but get it out there in various forms so people can find it, regardless of whether it's on the homepage. But that would be really important. People can go to the site and see it. If it can be made prominent, and the towns that are participating will promote it as well. Any other thoughts on the use of this homepage, or general thoughts on content that should be included, or other ideas? If not, we can move forward. So that's where we're at with that. One more hand, Patrice.
Yeah, if you have anything, just send the links to me, because that's so I can incorporate it. There's information, rewarding, any sort of graphics, logos, artwork that's available for us to legally post that can be incorporated. There are a lot of options. This is just really a start of the framework. And I can change a lot. I mean, this is just a basic thing that I came up with. So However we want it to look, it can look, and there's lots of options. But we are limited to the Google Sites formats. That is one limitation that we do have.
Tara.
One thing that's extremely powerful is any sort of quote or testimonial about community solar from any of the supervisors or, recognizable names. So a quote, a brief blurb about the county Solarize campaign, and maybe what we were discussing earlier, an infographic, and then a link to this website would be great, starting at the county website.
Yeah, that's great. We would like to this is another topic that's related that you brought up, but we'd like to get I'll just stop this, but we'd like to get a letter of support from either the Board of Supervisors as a whole or from the chair, which we've got some examples from NextAmp. I'm sure that, Kara, you've got examples and we could draft something. I don't know, maybe the supervisors that are on the call could comment on how we might approach that, or what would be the process there. Does it need to, for example, go through a full meeting as a vote that's something that would come out, or can the chair just decide to write a letter of support now that the resolution is passed, which would be obviously easier?
I would think the chair could write a letter of support since the full board has passed doing this program. And I would be happy as town supervisor in New Lebanon to either write or sign, if someone else can prepare it and I can just make it mine and sign off, that'd be even better. But I'm also happy to write something. Great.
Yeah, I mean, that would be great just to get started, Tistria, because then we can do that right away to get a blurb on the website here, and any other supervisors that that might want to do that about their experience in their towns. That could be a nice little section, and we can draft a letter, a model letter to the chairman to put in front of the chairman to see if he's interested in in doing something as well. That letter would be helpful for the mailings as well as for the website. And I think NextAmp is planning on some mailings. It would be helpful in the literature that we would hand out as well.
And I'm happy to make that ask to the chairman if somebody can draft me a letter, David or Wendy or whoever is appropriate. And also a letter for supervisors to either sign on to or individually produce. I can certainly send it out to all of the supervisors. I know a lot of us have experience in our own towns with this being a great program. So I'd imagine we could get, maybe the chairman writes one letter and then there's a separate letter that we just have, 15 supervisors sign on to or whoever, and just list all of our names on one letter.
I'm just thinking that sounds great. Maybe it's easier lift, and maybe useful to, instead of a second letter, having asking people for a little blurb, if you would like to say anything in support of community solar that we could quote you on from your experience, that could be really helpful. We could have some blurbs from the different towns, because I don't know how we would use that second letter as effectively as having a quote. But the first letter from Chairman Morrell would be extremely helpful for a lot of reasons. So how does that sound, Tistria? Should we approach it that way? Maybe a letter from the chairman and just a comment from anyone that wants to?
I think that's great, and I'm happy to take the lead on that. If you give me, some wording for the letter for the chairman, and then I can reach out to all the supervisors and just ask them for a quote regarding their experience.
That's great. I will. I'll work on that with Wendy, and we'll get a letter to you as soon as we can. We'll check in for comments from our little subcommittee to make sure we've captured things correctly and get everyone's feedback, and then we'll get that to you as soon as we can. That's a high priority. And if you can get any quotes, I mean, you could probably quote yourself quickly, but if you can get it, that's good enough, right? But if we can get any other quotes on there, maybe 2 or 3 we can put on the website, that would be great. Terrence.
Thanks. I think this conversation just made me think that kind of with the launch and with that letter and with the website, it would be probably great for us to come up with some press releases and try to get get it into print media as well, to direct people to the website, to kind of explain where the county is and how excited they are to roll out the Solarize campaign. And I think that is also an opportunity for us to, then costs are actually a reason to bring more people towards Solarize. So.
I think that's it's part of our plan, of course, to do press releases. It's in our scoping document, and it's definitely a priority to get some media coverage to help promote it. But I think it ties together well with what we're talking about here with the quotes. So, Tistry, if you're asking for quotes, if you could just be clear to people, can we use this on the county website? Could we use this in a press release? Would you be comfortable with that? And then we have that at the ready to craft. And then I think some of the discussion items around inflation and other things will make it a newsworthy article, a press release. Nice news hook there. So
perfect. I'll send an email out now to the supervisors.
Okay, that's excellent. The other thing on things, we had talked to Jared, and Nexamp does plan on. I don't think Neighborhood Sun or is planning on doing a mailing, at least initially. But Nexamp, I think, may be doing a mailing, and we're gonna focus those in the piggyback towns first to try to really promote it out there, so those towns can hit their goals quickly, and then go beyond that. Got an email from him this morning, which says that he needs addresses, names and addresses. I assume that this is something that is pretty easy to pull together from any given town or from the county, but I have no experience doing that. I assume this is just you can get that from the county clerk. I don't know how that works. So if anyone has any experience with that, that would be helpful, and we can connect Jared with that information. But for that mailing, having something from a letter of support from the chair, that would be great. Having anything from that town would be even better, and we're going to work on that town-specific info. So, Susan.
Thank you. Backing up just a bit, if anyone has any information about this rate hike, how much, when, why, just separately, I would love to let our town know about it. We do have a community solar program, and people are just now starting to see the credits. And I want to do what we're talking about, which is, in our town newsletter, let them know why they're going to look high. I think it's just like one of those things that we should be letting people know about. So if anyone has anything, send it my way, and maybe I'll
have a couple articles I can send to the group.
Thank you, Kira. Thanks. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, so we've got a bunch of work here, which is great. Does anyone? You can tell me offline, but is it as simple as just going to the town clerk to get? How do we connect one of the providers with a list of names and addresses for a town for a mailing?
Usually a mailer is, you just get this, like a direct mail piece doesn't typically require having addresses, but zip codes.
Yeah, and the address just says postal subscriber.
Right.
For everybody in that zip code in your
district. So bulk mailer for the zip code. Okay.
Yeah, they shouldn't need specific addresses.
Yeah, that does seem laborious for something like this.
Yeah.
Steve?
And I don't know that that's legal anyway for the town to be giving out names and addresses. But if they're using a service, which he said they were, they should just use the zip codes. Go by zip code.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. All right, so let me just check here. I think that covers it. Is there anything else on? We got a lot of balls in the air. We're going to try to bring this to a launch in the next week or so. And then, of course, we'll be adding the promotions in the next few weeks, press release, and getting these letters and mailings, and start with our events as well, and rolling that out. So if anyone has any thoughts or comments, please feel free to email me afterwards. I think you're muted still.
Sorry. When you say launch within a week, do you think within a week consumers will be able to actually go onto a website and enroll?
Well, when I say launch, I mean the website will be up and live, and it will link live to the Astral, to the Neighborhood Sun, which is Astral, by the way. We should clarify that, and Nexamp's subscriber pages, where they'll be ready to sign people up. The delay is not with the providers. It's with getting the MOU completed, which will determine our timeline. Getting the website up, and our website, the county website. Once that's up, then people can sign up. It won't be, we're not going to have a big. I just want to get it up so people can at least start getting in there, and then we'll have to just start promoting it. I don't think we can coordinate a big launch, multifaceted launch event in conjunction with the website going live, and I think that's just fine. We'll just continue to work on these different promotional pieces as best we can. Does that answer your question, Susan?
I think I just, it's like, if I wanted to, in a week from now, go onto a website and become a subscriber, could I do it?
Well, that's the goal. I don't know if it will be in a week. A scoping document. We've got an MOU that we have to complete. We have to get the website up. So those will determine whether it's in a week. I'm saying that it would be great if we could, maybe it's too ambitious, I don't know, but if we can get this launched by next week, the website, then people will be able to sign up. But it's the prerequisites are a little out of our hands, some of them.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, Wendy.
I just want to reiterate, we can't do any formal launch or anything until we have NYSERDA approval. So, we can have everything else done, but until NYSERDA gives us the approval to go ahead, we cannot officially.
Right. Kara.
Yeah, and we'll have our landing page is the bones of. We have a campaign page, so Astral Power landing page that explains that Astral Power has merged with Neighborhood Sun, and there'll be some infographics, a little bit about the Solarize campaign, making it local to Columbia County, and then there will be the campaign page is all ready to go. So as soon as I get this MOU signed, hopefully one will come before the other, and we'll be ready to go. And we'll have social media banners and all sorts of collateral for you to share.
Great. All right. Anything else on community solar? Good work, everyone. A lot of moving parts. So it's great. Thanks for everyone's contribution. The Climate Carnival. From one fun event to another, one fun topic to another. This one's really fun. It's coming together. Tistria, Jolene, do you want to? I think Jolene's on. I don't see her on my little screen, but
let Jolene start. She's really the power behind it. And then
okay.
Okay, so we had a meeting yesterday to give you guys an update on where we are. We have a number of different programs that we've kind of segregated out. One is composting, solid waste recycling. We have the repair cafes, bike repair, LED bulbs. We're looking at master gardener. So we're kind of going in a lot of different directions and just pulling it all together. We do have a number of food vendors that are committed to us for that day. And Don has been working on, thank you, Dave, working on the website for us, which we hope to launch this week. This will that are interested, because we've had a lot of interest throughout the county to click on the Join Us page, and it gives a overview of, what our mission is and the insurance requirement form that they would need to fill out. And we are just, and going to be meeting every 2 weeks from this point on. So if you have anybody that's interested, please reach out to me or to any of the members and, let us know, and we'll find a category to put them in and a place to, have them set up.
So yeah, this Don's done a lot of work, and Susan was very helpful too on the content of the website. We'll keep working on it. It's we're going to be adding people to it as we go, and list of vendors and all that. So it's a kind of a work in progress, a working website, I guess, a working document, and we'll make improvements as we go. But at least we have some place for people to sign up. We can start solidifying people who are coming. And a lot of good work's gone into it so far. We've gotten some support. Partners for Climate Action Hudson Valley has offered $1,000 to support our costs. This would be for, music perhaps, or other types of costs. The county, of course, is picking up a lot of the costs in terms of logistics, solid waste, electricity. So that is tremendous. But we'll have other costs as well. We're not taking any money, as we've talked about. We're not taking sponsorship because we don't want to overcomplicate this first year. If this is a success and we continue, we might do that in the future. But in the meantime, I know that CLC has also offered to provide some support and be a pass-through of sorts for any donations that we need for some of the other costs that we're expecting. But generally, it's not going to be a very expensive event, and it should be fun. And I will stop sharing the screen. I just can't see hands. I feel like there was a hand that just. If anyone has their hand up, just speak, because I can't see.
I think it was Kara. Was it Kara saying you wanted New Lebanon to table? Austerlitz.
Yeah, Austerlitz Climate Smart Committee would like to commit to tabling for sure.
Great. I think anyone that will have a table, and correct me, Jolene, needs to go into the Join Us page when it's live and sign up formally, and then also sign the insurance form and submit that. So for the town, that'll have to be submitted as well. Is that right, Jolene?
That is correct.
So that's how you officially sign up, and any organization will do the same thing. Any nonprofit or for-profit, anyone that's participating.
Is this live?
Not yet. This is the kind of like the test version.
Got it.
That we've been working on. But it will go live this week, I think, or
yes,
yeah, or maybe early next week. So that is what's going on with the Climate Carnival. It's going to be fun. So make sure you got it on your calendar, and we're going to be promoting it. So once we get a little more momentum, we'll really want everyone to go out to their network and get it out there just to spread the word. We can do some media around this as well as we get closer and it takes more shape. And I know Basilica Hudson they've done a lot of events like this, not quite like this, but similar, and effort to help promote it and out to their network. So I think we're gonna have a lot of friends that are helping us turn this into a bigger event. It should be really, really fun. And thank you, Jolene. This is a very cool event. And a year ago, I never would have expected that we would be doing something like this in the county. So it's very inspiring. Thanks for all the work.
Could I speak to it for a minute too?
Yeah, please.
Awesome. And yeah, a huge thanks to Don too, because Don's been doing a ton of this website and behind the scenes stuff, and really everyone on our crew and committee. We've got a really good team. I also, and I apologize, I was late to yesterday's meeting, but I did also want to thank the CLC for their $500 sponsorship towards marketing or what we need, as well as acting potentially as a fiscal sponsor. So if we have other organizations that are willing, that, you know, that don't want to pay the bands directly, but are willing to donate money towards something. And Terrence, I will be back in touch with you regarding all of your generous offers. So thank you to the CLC for that. And then I have a bit of an, Mark, if you want to talk about the bike thing, or if you want me to, but Mark's pretty much going to lead the bike recycling program. Did you want to speak to it, Mark, or did you want me to summarize kind of what
I can speak to it. Thanks.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I just switched headphones. Yeah, so this is Mark from New Lebanon Bike Recycling Program. What we're suggesting is that our team plus other volunteers from around the county come together to volunteer to fix bikes on site on the day. And then we will also have some bikes to give away, assuming it's a good fit. I think one thing we want to avoid is just bring all of our bikes and say, hey, free bikes, because generally when you do that, people take the bike and then find out if it fits later. So we try to make sure the bikes are a good match for people. And then finally, if people need a bike and we can't immediately match their request, we will put them on a waiting list. And generally, we are able to meet people's needs for a bike fairly quickly once they're on the waiting list. So that's similar to what we did at the Repair Cafe in New Lebanon in November.
Thanks, Mark. And then another thing that's exciting is New Lebanon is looking to kind of show a proof of concept to other towns. So we are encouraging all other CSCs, organizations, anyone from the city of Hudson. It would be a great program to have in the city of Hudson to come talk to Mark, Moy, Steve, whoever's there. We're actually going to have handouts for other CSCs with contact information, where New Lebanon's kind of offering to guide you through starting a bike recycling program in your own community. So that's another really big thing that we're looking to do. And one of the asks of this committee with the bike recycling is, if you know of anyone in your town that might have some skills in bike repairs, please connect them with Mark, because we would like not all of the brunt of getting bikes ready for this. Like he said, we're going to bring 5 or 6 displays, but we would like to have an arsenal of bikes ready so that people can be matched up pretty quickly after the event if we get a lot of people looking. And so ideally we would have some bike mechanics potentially volunteering in other towns, collecting bikes from their residents that are ready to go to a new home, getting them fixed up and ready and stored in your community, as opposed to New Lebanon kind of going all over the county to collect. So if that's something that before the event, like after the event, we'd love to help you start a whole thing in your town, but even before the event, if you'd like to get the wheels running and get things moving on that aspect, Mark is here to kind of guide that. So definitely be in touch on that. Did I miss anything, Mark?
No, I'll just highlight as well that the New Lebanon program is already the New Lebanon Canaan program, because we have Larry as a co-manager, and we have Charlie, who's another mechanic from Canaan. So it's already growing across the county.
Yeah. And ideally what I would love to see eventually is to have maybe 3 or 4 throughout the county. So like New Lebanon, Canaan, and Chatham, or, Ghent and Chatham and this town, but that way any resident doesn't have to drive more than maybe 15, 20 minutes to get to wherever that hub is. And then my one other ask is for the free store. I am going to send an email out to the whole group, but I am definitely going to need quite a few things. One is volunteers to set up. It will probably be 2 full 8-hour days of setup, sorting donations, hanging them, putting them out by size. So not just this committee, but if you know of anyone in your community that's really into like reduce, reuse, recycle, potentially loves thrift store type things, please have them contact me. And also I will be looking for towns, whether it's through the town itself, like I do it here at Town Hall, or whether it's through your CSC or a local committee or organization. I'm going to look for other towns to be also collecting clothing, footwear, gently used items and hopefully storing them within your own community somewhere. And then again, 2 or 3 days before the event, we will all come out with our trucks and vans full of clothes in bags or totes and getting them all set up. So those are my asks for now. And I will send a formal email out, both with the bike recycling piece and the free store piece. But I think if everyone on this group can reach out to people in your community that you think might be a good fit or might be interested in learning more. And again, the goal for me eventually would be to have, 3 or 4 free stores throughout the county, where 3 towns kind of come together and have one in this location, and another 3 towns come together and have one in this other location. And Bruce, Kara, did you have questions for the bike or the free store, or did you have something else to talk about?
On the bike, just real quickly, and this might be a conversation to take offline with Mark, but one thing that Repair Cafe brings to our communities is this educational component. Where the repair, quote unquote, repair coaches are showing people how they're fixing whatever item is broken. And I have repeatedly gone to a couple different bike stores locally asking, when are you going to have a bike repair class so I can learn how to repair my bike? And I just thought that, this would be something of a lot of value that we can give out, besides just fixing bikes and then donating them. Actually, maybe sort of course, once during the summer, twice in the summer.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Kara. And I've seen that too. I've gone to a bike store where the guy was like, "Please step away from the bike, sir." Like, it's like some privileged knowledge that they're not going to share with you. So that's a great idea. We'll bake that into our thinking.
Great, Brenda.
I was just going to add to that. There's also annual bike maintenance. Every spring, you should do a bike checkup. And as kids, we used to do that, and I would have no idea how to do it now. But to check your chain and your brakes, oil things, that might be something that could be piggybacked on what you just suggested.
And that's actually, Brenda, that's how this whole program got started. I think I was fixing up my bike 2 springs ago, and then offered to Tistria to fix up whoever needed their bikes. And then now we have 120 bikes repaired. So careful what you offer.
No good deed goes unpunished.
Exactly.
Susan.
Yep, moving off of bikes for a second. I'm wondering if the incentives will still be available by the time of the carnival. If so, could people sign up at the carnival? We could promote it on the website, and if I don't know, have the ability to
I think
sign
the
up.
plan is to have both of our solar providers at the carnival signing people up.
Yeah, definitely going to be a priority to happen there. So yeah.
And David, can I also give Bruce a chance to update everyone on Repair Cafe? Because I know he had some asks, some things that he needed from the group or communities.
No, just very minor. I mean, I believe I sent out the search for fixers last week. I didn't get any last month. I didn't get any response. I could repeat that request if anyone knows any fixers or that you might be able to handle to us. The other thing is I have a tentative volunteer to make a website for the Northeast Columbia Repair Cafe. I mean, it's not final yet, but I wondered is that okay if we just do that as an independent thing, or should that be under the aegis of this group?
I think it's easy. I mean, you're driving that thing.
Yeah.
We're not doing much at all, and I think you know exactly what you want to say, and
Okay.
it's best to be to come from you guys. That's my
Okay, so there's no problem if we make our own Facebook page and our own website or anything like that. That wouldn't interfere with anyone else. Okay, good. Okay.
So. Wendy.
And we're sending out, I did an article in our town newsletter, which will go out in the next 10 days, which is recruiting people for the Repair Cafe.
Great. Thank you. That's exactly what we're looking for. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bruce, when you have your website up and running, if you want to forward that information to the county, it's something that we can also promote for you.
Sure. Even there, I just have someone wrote me an email and said she's
Right.
she's in school and it would be a good project for her. It would be a good thing for her.
So
It'll be a while. Yeah.
Maybe we should also talk a little bit offline, because my understanding was that the Repair Cafe group that you have started like doesn't have a home with insurance and those sorts of things, and that once we had the county climate smart task force up and running, that it might make sense for a countywide Repair Cafe to be through the county. And if that's your intention, then I don't think you should just rogue set up your own website. If you guys are an organization that can hold your own insurance and do all of those things, because if you remember when we did the coordination, you know, with Canaan, with New Lebanon, like we covered New Lebanon under us.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would have a larger conversation
Okay.
before that website, because unless you have the infrastructure where you're going to have your own insurance and you're going to be relying on coverage, like for this event, the coverage is through the county because you're doing a Repair Cafe through the county event. But in a longer term picture moving forward, like New Lebanon covering the insurance doesn't work when it's involving all these different towns. And kind of part of the appeal of a countywide climate smart task force is to run something like that through this. So I think you as a group have to decide what your intention is. Are you an independent organization that's going to go out and get insurance and have your website and all of that, and the county is going to help promote it through our website? Or are you looking to be a county?
No, it's a valid discussion.
I think you have to figure out what your intention and
we go back and forth on it a lot, so it's hard. But I think a discussion involving yourself and Adelia and myself would make sense at some point, because and other people as well. But I mean, it's a little bit unclear. We as I said, we the scope of this meeting.
The question is, can you afford insurance, right? Because if you can't afford insurance, then I don't think you can do it on your own. And then I think the conversation needs to be with this committee as a county committee. Can we have a Repair Cafe, like an ongoing Repair Cafe that's countywide, that is through the task force covered through the county's insurance? And that's a whole nother bureaucratic layer that we have to work through. But if you can't afford insurance on your own, again, the town of New Lebanon over you if it anyway, we can talk offline about it.
Okay, good.
Okay. Kara.
Yeah, when we set up the Columbia Northeast Repair Cafe, we did it under the umbrella of Sustainable Hudson Valley and Hudson Valley Repair Cafe. And I can't really speak to the insurance conversation, but they do, I believe, have insurance policy to cover repair cafes and anybody under that umbrella. So I can connect you, Bruce, to Melissa Everett, but there's a action coming out of Hudson Valley Repair Cafes and a lot of really wonderful ideas and a listserv. So I think that we should investigate that, Bruce.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Good discussion, everyone. Anything else on the, there's some follow-ups there. Please follow up with Mark on the bikes. Bruce needs repair technicians, so please get the word out and ask people who who are handy if they'd be interested, and get in touch with Bruce. Anything else that Carnival, the Climate Carnival? Great. Okay. Next up, Wendy's going to give us an update on the energy benchmarking and the certification app, where we're at with Climate Smart. Bye, Kara. Thanks for joining.
Okay, so benchmarking, I'm at the mercy of our NYSEG and National Grid. I spoke with the controller this week. He is still waiting for NYSEG's information and National Grid. It's so I'm pretty much at a standstill with the benchmarking at this point. But I have been working on actions. We are at 106 points at this point of completed tasks. We have 5 points right now that once we have NYSERDA's approval for the solar campaign, and we have the solid waste management plan that is in the works at this moment as well. Once those 2 things are approved, we'll have 5 additional points. And then besides the 2 points that I'm waiting on benchmarking, the majority of the ones that are still kind of in process at this point are going to be Climate Carnival event.
And after the Climate Carnival, if all goes well, what do you think? Where do you think we'll be at with points?
154. But I also think I spoke with Alejandra last week. We had a great conversation. And she is working on a report that I believe I can actually submit with our initial. So that would be, I believe, another 8 points.
Great. So it sounds like, I know there are 2 windows, is that right? 2 windows throughout the year where you can submit for credit. Do I have that right?
3.
Go ahead, Steve.
3 windows.
Okay. So what's the soonest window after midsummer?
January, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the one before that? What is the schedule? January?
It goes like June, July, and then January. I guess they have to bring in the hay in the fall or something.
Correct. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll do what we can do. It may have to wait until January, but it'll be a big 2023 New Year's celebration.
I'm wondering, since 120 points prior to Climate Carnival, Tara, maybe you can answer this. If we submit all of the information necessary in regards to Climate Carnival with am I able to submit that before the carnival happens?
You can try it. I don't know that they'll accept it. I think you had some buffer points too anyways, though.
Yes.
So it's possible that, if that doesn't count, then you can still get the certification. I think that the action or the event has to be complete for some of these. So it's just a matter of how they word it in the action item. I always say just give it a shot and, hopefully it's not the points that are the most important.
Sure. Okay. Thank you.
What's the threshold for silver?
300.
300.
Wow. Okay. New Lebanon's going for that, right?
We're probably at about 200 right now.
That's a high bar.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for the update, Wendy, and all that good work. It's all that background administrative work is challenging, but the key to all of this moving forward. So we really appreciate it. That's, I think, all we have. I don't know if Jolene has any other updates on solid waste that she wants to give us. It's always a highlight to get a little solid waste update at the end of the meeting.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, major update is our household hazardous waste event is going to be held on May 7th. We just confirmed with Paint Care and our contractor that we will be taking latex paint. This is huge. We have not collected latex paint in the past. So we're going to be advertising pretty heavily. Went out to the clerks, I believe, yesterday. Our website has been updated and we'll have handouts at all the stations, and we will send it out to all the climate smart communities throughout the county. So other than that, we are just maintaining the master plan. Public hearing is going to be on this coming, lost my schedule here. The full board meeting on March 9th. It is available for anybody to review right now on the county website. Comments can be sent to me and they will be forwarded on to BNL. We develop the plan. So other than that, we are just working through some projects here at the stations, and that's it.
That's great. Jolene, all of the transfer stations will be participating in the hazardous household waste collection?
The actual collection is held at the County Highway Garage on Route 23B in Hudson, but they'll be sending out flyers. So flyers will be available to residents.
Great. All right. Collect your hazardous junk and put it on the calendar.
Yep.
So that's all we've got, folks. There's lots more to come, but anything else before we start? All right. Well, thank you everyone for your time. And we've got a lot of background work that we've talked about. So let's follow up on that and keep the momentum going. And again, thank you all for your time and your energy and your commitment to this work.
Hey, Dave, can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
The supervisor's on this call, Supervisor Collins, Adams, Supervisor Knott. I did just send the email, and it would be great to at least get the quote from the committee members that are supervisors. So if you all don't mind throwing that my way. Thanks.
Michael, I think they have had something too. Michael?
No, I was just about to say, have a good
All right, great.
No more.
Have a good day.